Isaiah 53:5. But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him. By his stripes we are healed. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned every one to his own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. We're in the Garden of Eden. There was one tree there we weren't allowed to eat of, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The day that we did eat of that tree caused a poison to be injected into our body. How many knows that Satan is the serpent? How many knows that serpents are poisonous? Serpents are poisonous. And so when the devil convinced Eve to eat of that tree, what happened is that a poison was injected into the female body. And so that poison then caused men not to think right as he used to think. A lot of people believe that Adam and Eve was stupid in the Garden of Eden. That's absolutely not true. Adam named all the animals. That takes a pretty smart person. He was totally smart. Every evening, God would come and fellowship with them. Every evening. Wouldn't that be great to have God come in the cool of the evening in the middle of this beautiful garden and to fellowship and walk and talk with us? And that's what the Lord wanted. It pleased the Lord. It pleased him. And he says that man was what? Good. Good. Man is good. You know, that's a lot of people think that man was evil in the beginning. No, he wasn't. He was good. He was made by God. You're made in God's image. That's why he loves you so much. And that's why the devil hates you so much. But Eve, deceived, went ahead and partook of the tree that she was not allowed to eat of. And it poisoned her body. And then here came the woman and gave it to Adam. And Adam, being the son of God, went ahead and said, you know, I love this woman that God has gave me. He loved the creature more than the creator. And he then partook of the same thing and poisoned him. Poisoned him. So now every child born from that day forward was going to have a poison running through their body. Because there's a connection between what happened in the garden and the sickness that we face now. There's a connection. And what is that connection? It is sin. It is the poison of sin that it infiltrates our lives. Even as Christians, this still is a battle. Is it not a battle? Do we not battle every day? Every day we're tempted in one way, shape, or form, or tested and tried in one shape or another. This is how our life is. Why? Because of that poison. Now you would have thought that God would have looked down and seen Adam and Eve and he could have started over. He could have. He could have. But he said, no, I'm not going to do this. I am going to make a way for them to get this poison and have power over the poison. He doesn't say that I'm going to remove that poison. He says I'm going to give you power over this poison. Listen, here is Jesus. He has no form or comeliness. He has no form or comeliness. Now think about this. This means he has no splendor. He had no reason to desire him. There was no reason for you to look at him and say that's a man of God or boy, he's good looking. There was no reason for that. When they see him, there's no beauty that we should desire him, it says. No desire whatsoever. He is despised and rejected by men. He's a man of sorrows, acquainted with grief. Here's what I want to say, and I know there's not many of them in here, but the millennials are saying the same thing. I couldn't believe this. I've been studying this all week, and they're saying the same thing. If I am rejected, I'm acquainted with sorrow. 70% of all households are in divorce. I say to you today that the generation now, that the Gen Xers and the baby boomers are saying are worthless, can be saved. They can be delivered and set free because the very things they're suffering, Jesus suffered. Jesus himself suffered. He was a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. He was despised, and we did not esteem him. He bore our griefs and carried our sorrows, yet we esteemed him stricken, smitten by God, and afflicted. But he was wounded for our sin. I want to tell you this week, as the Lord gave me this message, in the shower of all places, absolutely hit me in the face that I'd say unto you that a friend, if you commit a crime, may give you an alibi. I committed a crime, and that's one of my best friends. They might give you an alibi, mightn't they? Now let's look on to our brother or sister. They may hide the weapon, mightn't they? Jesus took the blame. Do you understand? You are guilty. All of us are guilty. Every man on this planet is guilty. And Jesus said, no, I'm not going to be like a friend and give you an alibi. I'm not going to be like a brother that will hide the weapon. I'm going to be a friend that sticks closer than a brother. I'm going to take the blame. Wouldn't that be nice if you was getting ready to go the rest of your life to prison, maybe hung, maybe burned at the stake, and Jesus says, I'll take it. I'll do it. Have you ever had a friend do that? I'll take the blame. I'll take the punishment, knowing what this was going to be like. And so it sickens me today when I hear so many people saying, God doesn't know what I'm going through. God doesn't know what I've been through. God doesn't know what it's been like for me. God doesn't know the heartbreak that's a lie out of hell. That's all the man knew. That's all he knew. He was sad. He was brokenhearted. He had no place to live. Do you have a place to live? He slept out in the streets. He slept in the streets. He was wounded because of our sin. He was bruised because of our sin. So we could have peace. They beat him half to death. But every stripe brought healing to your soul. Every stripe. He was oppressed. Are you oppressed? He was afflicted. Are you afflicted? He didn't open his mouth. He was led as a lamb to be slaughtered. And as the sheep before its shears is silent, so he didn't even open his mouth. He was taken from prison, then to judgment. And who will declare his generation? For he was cut off from the land of the living. For the transgression of my people, he was stricken. This is why Jesus had to do what he did. So there is hope for them, and I'll tell you that hope is Jesus Christ.